It's record store day, and we think that's a perfect reason to go ride bikes all day. Let's get it. Hey buds, bikes and record shops, that's a lovely pairing, two of my biggest loves in this world. We love riding out to record shops all year, but I love any excuse to make a full day out of something, especially on a bike, and just celebrate the culture and maybe find something unique. It was also the first truly warm day of the year and my first time taking my favorite bike out for a spin, my Wilde Supertramp, so the day was off to a really great start. We decided to start the day with a little trail recon. The ground can stay frozen for a while here, so early May is often when we can start checking out the trails again.
Is it the switch to misdirect, disconnected, does it? The rest I misdirected, disconnected,
It's nice to smell the trails again. Oh, it gets worse. Oh, okay, low gear. Oh no.
Nothing like going to the record shop looking like you came out of a bog.
Oh, it's thick.
Is it the switch to misdirect, disconnected, does it?
Mud report. I'd say I'm 6.5 out of 10 muddy. Been muddier, been a lot muddier in my life, but my bike's definitely very muddy. The whole bottom bracket, rear wheel, picked up some mementos along the way, so, it's just a sign of a good time.
It was still a touch early for the trails to be ridden, but that little sample was really exciting. I can't wait for more all-terrain rides this year and just longer days out in the trails. More of that coming soon. This bike actually hasn't been on a proper trail ride yet, and it's begging for it. Also, I know someone is going to ask why don't we have mudguards on these bikes, and the simple answer is we just put some on 2 other bikes of ours. We can't put them on all of our bikes. Besides, this is a great spot to dry out in the sun.
Sunshine.
Switching the rest of
A lot of people have told us lately that our videos make Ottawa look so pretty or cool. Not that Ottawa is pretty or cool, just that we make it look cool. And while I appreciate that, I don't think it's just us. That said, Ottawa is no stranger to being called boring. Some people have even called it the city that fun forgot, but I think there's a bit of an underdog syndrome at play. We're neighbors with Montreal, and it's hard to compare anything to Montreal, plus we're a government town. But since we've moved here in 2013, I have yet to get truly bored. And I think one of the secret sauces here is our provincial border with Gatineau, Quebec. I really think a lot of people don't know how unique Ottawa is, and that downtown Ottawa is only 4 kilometers away from hundreds of kilometers of nature. And in a way, I'm saying that one of the best things about Ottawa is not Ottawa, but that's just one of many things I love about being here. And being here for 13 years now, I've seen a lot of cool communities rise up. Artistic communities, bike-related communities, and people have a great appetite to support initiatives here in my experience. Ultimately, I really think riding a bike has expanded my appreciation for this city, and I would love to hear if anyone has a similar experience in their own city or here.
Should put some sticks in it.
What is this?
Well, it's a ball and stick library, of course, for dogs or for people. You can get yourself a stick or a ball here.
The record store quest continues with a little more trail recon along the way. Last year on Record Store Day, I was hoping to find some drum and bass music, and a lot of you left some amazing music recommendations in our comments. Thank you to everybody who did. I welcome all and any music suggestions in our comments anytime. I always have a blast checking them out. And Emma and I don't really limit ourselves to one genre of music that we're crazy about. Some of our most recent favorite live shows have been Mastodon, Fleet Foxes, Pantera a few years ago, Feist a few years ago. Speaking of which, there's a really cool crossover between Feist and Mastodon called Feistodon. If you haven't heard that already, that's my music recommendation for the day. They each covered one song from each other, and it is so rad. But anyway, this Record Store Day, there were some heavier records I was looking for. One was an album called Something to Consume by Die Spitz. That might be one of my favorite releases from last year. And Emma had mentioned looking out for some Idols records. That's one of her favorite bands. Most records that we hunt for are things that we've already heard. Sign of the times, I guess. When I was a kid, I loved going to buy CDs whenever I got allowance money or something. And most things I bought, I never heard before. I really enjoy building a collection of vinyl now, but man, it's a much slower build than when we were buying CDs back in the day.
Oh, hey buds. A few seconds of your time to thank today's sponsor, one that we use daily and really appreciate, NordVPN. We have a wicked deal for you at this link right here.
But you just ride bikes. How is NordVPN even relevant?
Hear me out. We spend a lot of time working from cafes, and if you're watching this channel, I'm willing to bet that you do too. But behind any public Wi-Fi network could be a very real threat, even if you're besties with a barista. This could come in the form of an evil twin Wi-Fi network that looks like the cafe's public Wi-Fi, but it's actually harvesting your sensitive data. NordVPN encrypts your online traffic so you don't have to worry about this or other online threats like phishing scams or password attacks. Simply put, scammers can be right behind you, but NordVPN offers you their protection. Check out the link in our description to find out about all the ways it can keep you safe. One other benefit of NordVPN that I love is I can enjoy my favorite streaming services from anywhere in the world. If you've seen our travel vlogs, you know I like to go places and ride a bike, but I also like to take a little piece of home with me, and since my dog is too big to fit in my suitcase, usually that's my favorite TV show. You can enjoy all these benefits and more by visiting the link in our video description and get a huge discount on the purchase of a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Thanks again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to Record Store Day.
Hold up, let me get a little closer.
Just up the street from our first record stop is one of our favorite coffee roasters, Little Victory's Coffee. They actually had some exciting news recently. They competed and made it into the world's best specialty coffee shops list. They've always been in our world's best coffee shop list, but this achievement is an actual, more sophisticated list, curated by Coffee Fest Madrid 2026. They ranked at number 71 out of 100 specialty coffee shops who made the list worldwide, and this was for a different location to the one we're stopping at now, but it's the same amazing coffee. I was reading that upwards of 15,000 coffee shops worldwide were considered, and there were more than 800 judges and public voting, and just about everything was taken into consideration, from the cafe's design, the pastries, baristas, and of course the coffee. So for a place called Little Victories, that's a pretty huge victory in my opinion.
You got people that always love you.
We shared this massive Rice Krispie Square, and another little victory, sorry I can't stop with that one, another win of the day is having our first iced coffee of the season. It was somewhere around 20 degrees Celsius outside, and it felt tropical.
Look who conveniently did not bring a front bag or a basket to carry their shirt. And who did? Who came prepared?
I brought this. We're on to the first record store of the day, and I'm not a big fan of standing in lines, but Emma decided we would have another coffee while we wait, and I think we waited for about 20 minutes. There was also a lot to watch. The Ottawa Senators were in the playoffs, so I was counting hockey jerseys. There was plenty of music chatter. I think when you're standing in a line, the move is to just raw dog it. No headphones, no scrolling your phone. It's kind of therapeutic. We made it inside, and I started by browsing some of our favorites. Maybe this is just me, but I often forget what bands I like when I walk into a record shop. It's like a system overload. But it's a good system overload because I really enjoy physical media. I love just reading song titles and letting my imagination run a bit, and of course the endless possibilities in the form of album art. Here's some all-time favorites that I started with. The Tragically Hip is one of my all-time favorite bands. Gord Downie did a great record with the Sadies that I already have, but I think this live version was new this year. John Frusciante is easily one of my all-time favorite musicians and probably my biggest inspiration on guitar. And Soundgarden, Chris Cornell Forever. I wasn't finding too many heavy records, but a few more recent faves were in there. This Alexis on Fire record is really great. Ooh, and The Darkness. This brings up a thought I had. We like a wide variety of music, and I was talking to someone about The Darkness, and they said, yeah, they're my guilty pleasure band too. The Darkness is not my guilty pleasure band, and I thought that whole concept was kind of strange. I don't want to sound high and mighty here, but it feels like an attempt to put these arbitrary cool or uncool labels on things. Maybe that comes from peer pressure, but like what you like, and The Darkness rips. I'd be curious what you all think about this. Should guilty pleasure music be a thing, or should we just encourage each other to like whatever we like? Anyway, right before leaving, I found this record from the band Wednesday, another favorite of ours from last year, and I was excited to be the bearer of good news because Emma was looking for this record, and I found it. So we eventually made it out, and there was a whole new crop of people waiting to get in. We ended up buying 4 new records. We'll do a little record haul and a stereo check at the end of the video, so hang out if you'd like to see that. Here's a quick look at Emma's front-loading setup for record hauling, starting with an Old Man Mountain Elkhorn rack and an Old Man Mountain basket, which is the same size as a Wilde 137. The bag she's using is a Swift Industries Tech Tote. Records fit perfectly in this bag, and if you haven't seen it before, it uses shock cords to attach to the side of your basket. It's become one of our most used bike bags in the last year. We don't have a full bike check for you today, but Emma's planning to do a more in-depth Hog's Back review since she's been on this bike for a little while now. So if there's anything you want to know about this bike, please let us know in the comments below.
First record store is down. We got 4 albums. What's the next move?
Now we're gonna go get banh mi.
I'm starving. Wow, this might be the best wheelie I've ever done. I have no idea how I just did that. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah.
We ran into some friends biking by the skate park, and the same feelings that we were having of relief and disbelief and winter graduation, it was on full display here too. The collective joy was very noticeable, and this guy was absolutely sending it. I think he was riding an early 2000s looking Kona hardtail. I had a Norco hardtail back in 2004 and it was just like it. Super fun times. But anyway, when people ask us how we make it through intense winters here, or when I ask myself this, I usually reply with this joy that you're seeing right here. We kind of have our own brand of celebration coming out of hibernation. I actually mentioned in our last video that I think hibernation should be more normalized, but as I'm getting older, I can see the appeal of this type of warmth and celebration of warmth all year. Watching our friends ride bikes in San Francisco, for example, is increasingly attractive every year. I was thinking more about this guilty pleasure music thing and how it relates to bikes actually. I was thinking about this because of the bike I'm riding today. I'm riding my Wilde Supertramp that I customized from the frame up. I have another funny story, just like the story about the darkness. I was talking to someone on the street about this bike last year and they said, I would also like to get a not so serious, just for fun bike sometime. Which of course caught me off guard. I don't think I said anything to imply that this bike was not so serious to me. It is very much a fun bike, but this is my bike that I take very seriously, and it's my main bike. I'm able to not let those things bother me. This whole YouTube channel is about celebrating the types of bikes and rides that I believe in, but I feel like this minimizing language creeps up often with bike fans and music fans, and I often wonder where it comes from. So I think I'm making this point because I'm not sure if it's downplaying little bits of joy or if it's just cool guy behavior. Regardless, any form of getting out on a bike is something I think we should be proud of. The banh mi was delicious, and we're off to our second record store of the day called the Record Center. This place is a longtime favorite. They're always buying pretty incredible record and hi-fi collections, so it's the type of place that I like to pop into often and dig through the new arrival bins. There's no shortage of fun stuff to check out in here too. They're hi-fi nerds, and you can easily spend a long time in here. When we showed up, they had a live band playing, and oftentimes they'll record live shows directly to tape right off the floor. We got to digging shortly after, and to be honest, I wasn't finding much during this visit, but it was later in the day, a very busy day at that, and we spent more time riding than record shopping because it was just so nice out. I ended up still finding one record, so we got back on the bikes and we headed home for a little recap. Time for a quick stereo check and a record haul. Starting with my turntable, I've used this Rega Planar P2 for many years now. It's belt driven and I find it's really nicely designed. My amplifier is an NAD D3045. And for speakers, I'm running these Pioneer HPM 60s. This is actually my third set of these. Not because I blew them, I just love Pioneer HPM 60s. I used to run a fully vintage stereo setup, but I got sick of repairing things and I just started to replace it all. For today's record haul, we picked up 5 records, starting with the album Bleeds by Wednesday. Emma also got Blood Bank by Bon Iver, one of her favorite albums. We got MJ Lenderman's latest record, another favorite from last year. I got this Tyler Bryant record. This one's different from the first 3. He's more of a blues rock guitarist that I love. And then we got a newer Thrice record. This was the only one that I hadn't heard before, and I used to love Thrice, so might as well give it a go. Alright friends, that does it for this one. Please leave a comment if you haven't already, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Both are tremendous ways to support the channel. You can find us on Instagram, and you can find us at bikebreath.com. We have a merch restock coming soon. I really appreciate you watching. Keep it real.